Hey guys, happy Friday. I have an exciting video for you today. I'm going to be talking all about feeling like a fraud in your coaching business. This is definitely something that I hear from a lot of new coaches as they're getting started, and it's something that has come up with some of my clients lately. And we were talking about feeling like a fraud, feeling like you don't know enough. Who am I to tell other people what to do when I'm not perfect myself? Maybe feeling like, you haven't done enough training, you don't know enough, being worried about what you're going to say to other people. And really like this feeling of like, I think maybe owning what it is that you have to offer and that you're the expert and getting out there and showing up as that coach. And so I want to talk about this and give you guys some tips for getting through this little hurdle, and so that you can show up confidently, really own your expertise as a coach, and get out there and start helping people. I want to give you guys some steps that I think are really going to help you see this differently and allow you to not let this stop you from moving forward with your business. Because when it comes to getting your business up and going, truly mindset is the biggest thing that holds people back. Yes, you need to learn the structures to get your business up and running, but a lot of times people think, oh, I just don't know enough marketing, or I just don't know, what to be doing in my business. But a lot of times when we really kind of dive down into it, where people are getting stuck is mindset, and that holding you back from actually moving forward and from taking the actions that are going to get you the results. Hey, Rachel, how are you? So nice to have you on. So I have, let me see how many steps for you. I think I have 4 steps to walk you through. And these are going to be game changers for you. Definitely going to really change how you feel in your business, how you show up in your business, and allow you to not get caught in this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm a fraud, and who am I to go out there and help other people? Okay, so number 1 is recognizing that in order to be an effective coach, you just need to be a few steps ahead of your ideal client. Okay, you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to be perfect, because no one ever is. You literally just need to be a few steps ahead of the people that you're working with. And I think it's perfectly okay to admit that I'm not perfect. It's okay to talk about some things that you still struggle with. There's no reason to try to show up and put on this persona of being perfect. And I think actually that can be pretty off-putting to a lot of people, because we want to work with someone who is real, who is authentic. And if you are showing up real and authentic, then you're going to be showing up not perfect, because that isn't real. And so I think the more that we can understand this, I don't have to be perfect. I can still struggle with things, and I can still help other people. And that's fine. And I think a good example of this is, so when I was doing health coaching, and really when I was doing even functional medicine, I was working with a lot of people who had digestive issues, and really some pretty extreme digestive issues. I kind of worked with the people who had the challenging cases, that had maybe even seen other alternative practitioners and were still having issues. And so I helped a lot of people and really was able to help my clients get some amazing results. But at that time, my digestion was not perfect myself. There were still things that I was working on in my own health and in my own digestion. But it didn't mean that I wasn't able to help other people with that. Like I said, I actually got really great results with people. And so I think a lot of times we overestimate that how much people even already know, or that we think everyone already knows what we know or is already doing it. And a lot of times that's not the case. And that what we do know is actually really helpful to people and can make a huge change for them. Even if to us, it seems very simple and oh, everyone should know this. But this is the thing. That's why you're the expert, because, sorry, something loud going by. Because even though it seems really simple to you, to other people, they may not even know that, or it doesn't seem simple to them. So that really goes to owning that expertise and realizing that not everyone is going to know what you already know. Okay? So you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to know it all either. It's okay to admit that you don't know some things too. Like if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, that's fine. You can say, that's a great question. Let me look it up or let me find out and I'll get back to you on that. Like you don't need to know it all in order to be an effective coach and in order to help other people. I definitely don't know it all. Like there's so much I don't know and I don't have everything memorized. And so when people ask me questions, if I don't know, I'm like, awesome question. Let me check and I'll get back to you. So be okay with not knowing it all and not being all perfect. Okay, so the second point to realize is that your brain is going to try to stop you from moving forward with your business and with coaching. And the reason that your brain does this is because it wants you to stay exactly where you are right now. It doesn't want you to change. It doesn't want you to do something that is unfamiliar, that is potentially scary, that's, making you get visible and get out there. And so your brain, anytime you start to do something new, is going to start putting off these signals or messages like, don't do it, like you're a fraud, you don't know enough, you're not good enough, what are people going to think of you, you're gonna fail, like all these different things. Your brain is gonna start like firing off these messages. And this is the brain's job because it wants you to stay where you are right now, because your brain equates that to being safe, to being alive. And it's like, don't go and do this, you're gonna die. Don't go and do something new and scary. And so I just want you to recognize, like, it isn't just you who's feeling afraid, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, that this is like a universal experience for anyone who's trying to do something new. And starting a business and like walking into a new area of expertise or like a new career is a big deal. And so it's totally normal that your brain is going to be freaking out and trying to get you to stop doing it. And your brain knows exactly what buttons to push, right? It knows the things that you're generally afraid of because it's been using those same messages over and over again. So it's going to bring up, like, if you're really afraid of what other people think of you, that's what your brain's going to go to. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, people are going to think you're crazy. People are going to think you don't know enough, that you're a fraud. Like, that's where your brain is going to go. So really be aware of that and be aware of that that's how your brain works. And it doesn't mean that there's any truth or validity behind any of the things that your brain is saying. Because most likely these are the same messages that your brain has been feeding you for years and years and years. And it's the way that your brain is trying to keep you the same. Like I said, like that's what your brain always wants to do. It wants you to stay the safe and the same. And that really goes back to like, caveman days when we had to be worried about like bears and survival and like finding enough food to eat. And obviously those aren't things that we have to deal with in our society nowadays. And so those same messages are going off in our brain, trying to keep us, back in the cave, back safe, and so just be aware of that so that you don't allow your brain to run your life. And instead you can be like a conscious creator of what's going on in your life. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know. So number 3 is then becoming aware of those thoughts, right? So your brain is going to keep putting off these thoughts, like maybe you're a fraud, you don't know enough, whatever it is that your brain keeps telling you. What I want you to do is to become really aware of these thoughts. Whatever it is that your brain is telling you, the things that are causing you to feel afraid or to feel, hesitant to put yourself out there, be really aware of those messages that are going off in your brain. And this is why, okay? Your thoughts create your feelings, which create or which determine the actions that you take, okay? So why this is so important to understand is because if you are thinking that I am a fraud, you are going to most likely feel, let's say like hesitant or scared. And when you're feeling that way, the action that you're going to take is probably not taking any action, right? It's going to be like procrastinating or distracting yourself. You're not going to be taking action to move forward in your business. And so what happens is then if you're not taking any action, the result you get is no forward movement in your business. And then you're going to look back at that thought you had, which is, I'm a fraud. And you're going to be like, yeah, I'm not getting any forward movement in my business. I'm a fraud. And it's kind of re-establishing that thought pattern as being true, when really, like, if you can recognize, like, the things that I'm thinking are causing how I'm feeling, which results in the actions I'm taking. When you can be aware of this process, then you can start choosing those thoughts that you're allowing to run your life. So our thoughts, they kind of go by like on a conveyor belt, right? Like if you sit there and you watch your brain, it's like crazy. It's like thinking about this, it's thinking about that. It's like thinking about someone you went to high school with, and like all this different stuff. Like your brain is kind of jumping all over the place. So what you can recognize is that you get to choose which of those thoughts you are taking off of the conveyor belt and you're like bringing into your consciousness, or you're choosing those thoughts, or you're really going to like kind of pick those thoughts and go with those. And so you can choose the thoughts that are going to serve you in getting the results that you want, and you can let those thoughts that don't serve you just continue to go by on that conveyor belt, and you can just watch them and you're like, oh, it's like you're a fraud, you don't know enough, and you're like, oh, that's interesting, but I'm just going to let that thought keep going. So instead, what you can do is pick up those thoughts that are going to actually serve you, like, I am a good coach, or I believe I could be a good coach. I have a lot to offer. I know what I'm talking about. I've done this myself and I've gotten amazing results. I've helped other people. Whatever those thoughts are, you can pick those up and you can allow those to be the thoughts that are running you, and allowing you to feel, think about the difference if you're feeling like, oh, I'm a fraud, or I don't know enough, versus thinking, I've made some really awesome changes in my life and I know I can help other people do the same thing. If you're feeling that way, you're going to feel confident. You're going to want to go out there and take action in your business. And that's going to help you get results or forward movement. So does this make sense to you guys? Let me know. But I think thought work is so important. And when you just can really look at what's going on and become conscious of this process, it's going to allow you to have the power to really create any sort of result you want in your business and in your life. So definite game changer. Okay. Okay. This is the fourth step, or the fourth key. And I think this is a huge game changer too. So we have an identity, right? And your identity is what has brought you to where you are right now in your life. So that identity for you may be like, let's say you're a nurse. I'm a nurse, or I'm I work at this certain business, or I'm a stay-at-home mom. Whatever that identity is that you've really taken on and you see yourself as, right? Like I had a lot of people that come into my group, and how you describe yourself or introduce yourself a lot of times is kind of your identity. A lot of times people identify with like certain things or traits, or, what they do in their life as, are their relationships. And so what happens is, if you're stepping into a new identity, which is being a coach, being an entrepreneur, you're going to run into some resistance as far as how to step into and create this new identity of being a coach, of being a business owner, of being an entrepreneur. And so when you're coming from your past identity, you're going to have like all these thoughts popping up that don't fit in with the new identity that you're trying to create. So, hey, Charmaine. Yes, Rachel, it makes sense. Something you need to start practicing. Yes. So go back and like, you can watch this multiple times and like go through and like think of these things, because it's gonna really help you. So I'm talking about like your current identity has allowed you to create the life you have right now. So if you're looking at the life you want to create, the business you want to create, you have to step into that new identity, right? And so what I want you to start thinking about is that thinking and making decisions from that new identity. So if you were already that person who had a successful coaching business, what would you be thinking? How would you be acting? And how would you be feeling? And start making decisions from that place as opposed to making decisions from the place of where you are right now. And when you start doing that, you will be amazed at what is possible and how you start thinking about things really differently. So if you just assume, like, let's say your goal was to make, $5,000 per month as a health coach in your coaching business, and you are like, okay, that's where I am, that's what's happened, and I'm coming from that place. If I was that person who was making $5,000 per month in my coaching business, what would I do? How would I be thinking? How would I be showing up in my business? What kind of confidence would I have? How would I be like holding myself? What would I be saying? So think about these things, and I want you to start taking action and start thinking from that place of someone who's already done that, of yourself who's already done that, who's already there. And when you do that, then you have that knowledge, you have that confidence of coming from that place of where it's already done. Okay. And this is really this is kind of the key of manifestation and making things happen that you want to, is coming from a place of it's already done. I believe it's going to happen without a doubt. And now I can actually go back or I can be in this present moment making decisions as that person who's already accomplished it. So let me know if that makes sense to you guys, but you have access to this whole new set of knowledge when you come from a place of having already done that. And the thing is, if you look at it at any time in our life, we have endless possibilities of what is possible for us in the future, right? Endless possibilities of what could happen for you in the future. And what I want you to recognize is you actually get to choose which of those possibilities you want to make happen. And either you can keep doing what you've always been doing, like our habits, and keep thinking the same way you've always been thinking, and keep feeling the same way you've always been feeling, and you'll just continue on the same path that you're on right now and keep getting those same results. But if you decide, I want different results, I want something else, I want to create something else in my life, then look at what that end result is that you want to create in your life and start making decisions from that place. Start thinking from that place. And then it will be inevitable that you can create that result. So it's so powerful. If you start doing this, I promise it will change so much for you and really help you as far as being able to move forward with your business, being able to get the results you want, being able to feel, so much more confident and just as the expert and really owning it. So super powerful stuff. It's when you can master that mindset stuff, it's just going to totally change what's possible for you in your business. So let me know if you guys have any questions about that, anything you're specifically getting stuck on when it comes to mindset, when it comes to feeling like a fraud, or the things that are kind of holding you back in your business, because I'm happy to answer them, happy to dive into them. This is stuff I love covering with all my clients. We really dive deep into the things that people are getting stuck with when it comes to mindset, when it comes to self-sabotaging and these different things that really keep us from moving forward. So if that's something you want personalized support with so that you are free to move forward and create the results you want in your business, I'd love to help you with that. And I'd be happy to chat more with you about that. So I will put a link around this video to sign up for a free business breakthrough call with me. And I'd love to speak with you on that, specifically with where you're at and where you're getting stuck, because it's so powerful when you do this. I promise you, there's nothing outside of you that's missing. You have everything within you, but a lot of times we just don't know how to use our brains most effectively to help us get the end results. And that's something I'm super passionate about. And I've done a lot of training on. I'm training on it right now, and it's something I continue to bring into my work because I can see how much of a difference it makes for me and for the other people that are for my other clients. So Jillian, you're welcome. Glad you found it helpful. Jen, yes, I totally get that. So that's such a good topic. You know, as far as like for a lot of us, we have our ways of like dealing with stress that a lot of times is something that we're helping people with. So this was for me too. Like, when I started health coaching, I was coaching women around emotional eating and body image, something I had struggled with myself. And I would find that when I was stressed out, that that's kind of the habit that I would go back to, right? Because it was something that was so deeply ingrained for me. And the thing is, like, even if I was falling back into that habit a little bit or was doing it here and there, like, I still had all that knowledge to be able to pull myself out of it and to be able to help other people with it too. And so, I mean, I'm not perfect at that. I don't think I ever will be. I think it's something that's kind of like deeply ingrained, but it's not something that I fall into like I used to, where it would like take over my life in any way. And so I think anytime we're going through these periods that are stressful, to be able to be, understanding and caring to yourself, never beating yourself up about it, right? Like, because the more you beat yourself up, then the worse you feel, and it just doesn't help. Like, that kind of keeps you stuck in that cycle. So when instead you can kind of like show yourself some love and be like, okay, what is it that I need to be doing, or what am I thinking that might be causing me to go back to those old habits? There's a lot of power in that, and the more that you do that, the more it's actually helping you with your clients as well. Because the more you have to work on yourself, the more you learn and the more you help other people. So if you struggle with something like that, like, it does not mean you're a fraud. And of course, like, I'm always happy to help with anything that may be bringing that up too. So we can always talk about that too. Crystal, let me see what you're saying. Getting stuck with consistency. Your body often tells you you're tired when I'm not. Yeah, so this is the thing when it comes to consistency. What I've had to do in my business, you're so welcome, Jen, is I decide ahead of time what I'm going to do, as far as like when I'm doing a video or when I'm doing like a newsletter or certain posts, and it gets done on that certain day, and it's non-negotiable, and I just do it. So your brain is going to want to, anytime you need to do something and it seems kind of scary or it seems hard or challenging, your brain's going to be like, don't do it. That's too hard. Maybe you should go eat instead. Or maybe you should go take a nap instead. Or maybe you should go and watch some Netflix instead. Like, that's your brain is trying, doesn't want you to do those challenging things. It wants you to just chill out. Like, our brain just wants us to chill out all the time. And if you just listen to your brain all the time, it'd be like, just nap and eat all the time, like my dog does. But you have the power to plan ahead, and to, even when those messages start coming up, to just be like, no, this is the day I do this, and I'm just going to get it done. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you don't feel like doing it that day. Like, usually I do my videos on Thursday, and today it was Friday, and truly I hadn't really planned ahead for my video. And yesterday I was like, I'm going to do it anyways, because I have made a commitment to do a video every week. And so even though I didn't really feel like doing it, and actually I had a headache yesterday, I was like, I'm just going to do it because I always do it. And so I just decided and made it happen. But just know, like, a lot of times your brain will tell you those things, like, you're too tired, you should go and eat, you should, watch some Netflix, you should go outside and play. And if you just decide ahead of time what your schedule is as far as when you're doing what, then you allow your brain to, like, talk and say those messages, and you can just ignore it and just do it anyways, right? And just get it done. And I think it's helpful to even like set a timer for something, whatever it is you're going to do, and then just do it during that amount of time and get it done, so that your brain isn't, talking to you, and you can just be like, this is what I'm doing it now, I'm going to get it done. So that has been super helpful for me, just deciding, what task I'm going to do each day and just sticking to that. Yeah, you're so welcome. Anything else that's coming up for you? Sue, let me see what you said. When you don't want to do something, but your brain says no, do you find the quality of work is less? Okay, so that's such a good question. So a lot of times what we think, and I hear this from clients all the time too, is like, I can't work on this because I don't feel inspired, right? I need to wait for a hit of inspiration to come and allow me to do my work. And so I understand where this is coming from, because when you are an entrepreneur, you do have to be creative and you do have to kind of tap into that. But at the same time, I think you can just make yourself just decide you're going to do something and do it. And this is the thing. Maybe you don't feel like really doing it that day, and maybe the quality of work may be a tiny bit less, but I think it's more important to be consistent than it is to have absolutely amazing work every time you put it out there. And there's a lot of things that say, you should really shoot for, hey, Sunny, I'm so glad to see you, that you should shoot for like B- work in your business, right? Because A+ means you'll never get it done because you're shooting for perfection, which is like impossible. And so if you're always saying like, I like to say done is better than perfect. And I think that this is so true. And so what I would say is I actually think it's better to just get something done and put it out there, even if it's not your absolute best work. And you can always go back and do things, like if it's something that you're putting out there for, like an ebook or like something like that, that's going to live out there for a longer amount of time, like that's probably going to take you more than just one day anyways. So maybe you work on some things one day when you're not feeling so inspired, and you come back the next day when you're feeling more inspired and you like proofread it and stuff. And I think that's fine. But yeah, if you're always waiting for inspiration for something, you may be waiting forever. So I think that's where like scheduling something and just saying, I'm going to do it on this day, actually it really serves you. And the more you get into doing that and you get into the practice of creating content, the more you're able to just do it like that. I create posts like almost every day in my Facebook group for social media. And when I first got started, it would take me like forever to write anything. And now I can do it in like 15 minutes, So, but that's just been a practice because I've just been doing it and doing it and doing it. And the more I do it, the easier it comes. So, but that's a great question. Anyone else questions on anything? Well, if you guys have any questions later that come up on this topic, I'm happy to answer them. Like I said, mindset work is something I'm super passionate about. I think it's the key to creating everything you want in your life. Actually, I know it is. And so I really am passionate about giving you both the structures to really help you move forward with things in your business, but also that mindset work. One without the other gets you nowhere. You really need both of them. And when they come together, that's really when you can get those amazing results. So if that's something you're interested in, click the link around this video. I'll put one around and you can sign up for a free call with me. And I'd love to talk to you about that. My goal is always to help all you guys get out there and share your message, start helping people. I think the more of us that are out there, the bigger difference we're making in the world. And there's so many people out there that just really need support and help. And coaching's amazing. Like, I think coaching it's life-changing. And, you can never go wrong with coaching. If you can change your mind and change your life, change your health, things you're struggling with, like it makes such a huge difference in people's lives. And that's what you guys are all offering. So, but the important thing is that we don't get stuck up in our own mind drama so that we can go out there and start helping those other people. Yeah, Crystal, coaching is amazing for sure. I think getting yourself coaching is like the best gift ever. And I almost always am working with a coach because I think it's just amazing. So I can stand behind it and I'm like, yes, you should sign up for coaching because it's life-changing. So, and you should be able to stand behind that too. And so I think also if you're a coach and you've never been coached, it's really important to get coached so that you can really experience like how amazing coaching is for yourself too. So when you work with me, you get that coaching as well. And so I think that's beneficial to you too. So you can really stand behind like, yes, coaching's amazing and it's something you should invest in. I've done it and I believe in it. So, all right. Any other questions, anyone? If not, we'll go ahead and wrap up. But thank you everyone so much for joining me. I love talking about this stuff. Mindset's probably my favorite because like I said, it's really the foundation of everything else. And you can have all the most amazing systems. You can invest in every program out there that tells you how to market. But if you don't have the mindset behind it, you'll just keep, running into this wall where you're sabotaging yourself and not moving forward. and really like blocking yourself from getting results. Because if you don't feel confident about working with people and coaching, and you're thinking I'm a fraud, you're going to block yourself from getting clients because you don't actually want clients. So I want to help you work through those things so you actually want clients, and so that you can go out there and really start marketing and having that good energy behind it. Mindset's the hardest. Yes, absolutely. It's the hardest, and it's truly why most people aren't willing to be entrepreneurs, even if they want to, because there's so much mindset work that goes into kind of getting over our shit that holds us back and allows us to go out there and be successful. So, but it's also the most powerful work. You change your mindset, you change everything in your life. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any other questions that pop up and you want them answered, put them in the comments, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So have an amazing rest of your Friday, amazing weekend, and I will talk to all you guys soon.